So these are the ingredients you will need to make this lemon banana bread. They will be in the description. So we'll start by making the wet ingredients. In fact, I started making, I started mashing up the bananas, and then I remembered that I needed to make the flax egg, because the flax egg is an egg replacement that I use, in plant-based cooking. And the way you make it is 1 tablespoon of ground flax seeds to 3 tablespoons of water. So, and you let it sit for 5 minutes. So you can see me there. I started with the bananas, but then I will stop midway and go to make the flax egg. So now let's talk about the bananas a little bit. So you want to make sure you have very ripe bananas, because if you don't have very ripe bananas, when you mash them up, they won't be as well mashed, and you will have chunks of bananas in your bread, and that will not be so good. You want a nice fluffy looking bread. So I'm here now making the flax egg using my seed grinder or coffee grinder, and I took about a tablespoon and a little bit of the whole flax seeds, and then I'm grinding them up, and then I will measure 2 tablespoons of the ground flax seeds, and I will add 6 tablespoons of water, and I will let it sit for 5 minutes. That will make the flax egg. So that's 2 tablespoons to 6. So the ratio is 1 to 3. So because I'm putting 2 tablespoons, I'm going to put 6 tablespoons of water. So we'll do the wet ingredients first. So go ahead and do 6 tablespoons of water. And then we'll let that sit for 5 minutes. Now we're going to mash up the bananas. They're very ripe. So those ones with the black dots are very ripe, like you want them. Maybe a little bit soft. Mine were right there. Maybe you could have even ripened a little bit more. So I'm mashing them up. Making sure to break up everything, and there you go. It's all good. So we'll do all the wet ingredients, and then we'll do the dry ingredients. So the recipe is pretty easy, not a lot of ingredients. So now I'm making the lemon. So we will have 1 lemon, and I used organic lemon because I'm getting the zest. So get zest from 1 lemon and lemon juice from 1 lemon too. That was not as easy. The lemons were not as fresh, but I did get some zest, so not bad. Now you take the zest and add it to the mashed up bananas, and then we're going to get the lemon juice and add to the mix. So there goes the lemon juice, and I like to use fresh lemon juice, that those readily squeezed lemons in containers, but I don't use those things. So now next we are going to add, I had to use agave nectar, though I prefer to use pure maple syrup, but I didn't have enough, so I used agave nectar, and that's a 1/4 cup. So this bread is pretty sweet, but you can see they're all natural sweets, and a 1/4 cup for a whole bread not too bad. Bananas, people worry about sugar a lot, but as I've been telling you, see, I don't use any oils in my food because oils have twice as much calories as carbs, as sugars, even though people are so afraid of sugars. Okay, so now next, we have the dry ingredients. I have 1.5 cups of whole wheat flour, so I used 1/2 cup, so that's why you see me put 3. Next, we're going to put baking soda. 1 teaspoon baking soda goes in, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder goes in as well, and then half teaspoon of salt. I put a little less, but yeah, 1/2 teaspoon of salt goes in, and we're going to mix everything, and then we'll combine the dry and wet ingredients. So mix, not forgetting the flax egg. It's quite actually interesting. When you look at it, it looks like, how that's sticky and then there's some water kind of floating, looks like an egg. So mix everything well and then add the flour and mix everything, combine it well. So we have all the ingredients now in there, and we just need to combine, make sure there's no flour, there's no dry flour. Everything is well mixed. It's done. As you can see, it's pretty wet. It's okay. And already the oven is preheated at 350 degrees, so it's ready. Once this is all done, the bread will be put in for 50 minutes. It depends on the oven. With the oven, mine takes 50 minutes. So now this is the part I really had to learn, because I don't use oil even to spray on my container. I use parchment paper. So my daughter, Naema, the artist, helped me figure this out. She knew how to do it. So she told me, cut the edges. So I followed her. She actually did it for me a few times, and then now I'm able to do it myself. So you cut from the edges, cut all the way inside where it's going to, kind of to the horizontal plane of this thing. You cut it all the way so that I'll show you. You will see how I do it. But see, I'm cutting it all the way in, and then I'm going to flatten it, and that cut is going to be on the flat plane of this thing, of this baking thing. So you can see that, and I'll push it in. So this is how I've been able, I used to struggle with this parchment paper so much, but thanks to my artistic daughter, she was able to tell me what to do. So anyway, I'm cutting the extra piece so it's not inside the flour when you're putting it in. Aligning it very well there. Okay, now we put in the mixture and flatten the top. And then we'll be ready to put in to bake for 50 minutes. So just flatten, and we bake at 350 degrees. So just flatten. And then bake. Look at that. All right, so now bake for 350 degrees for 50 minutes, and then we'll let it cool for 10 minutes in there so we can take out the parchment paper, and then we'll put it after 10 minutes, at least 10 minutes, put it on the rack to cool completely before you can cut it. You will enjoy it more.